There's news, there's sense, and there's nuisance. This week was so high on drama. Action था इस हफ्ते. Amit Shah introduced the सबको जेल में भरेगा रे तेरा फैजल बिल, and the opposition was reduced to कागज के टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग.
नाम निर्देश किए जाने वाले इस सभा के सदस्य.
A few moments later.
गृह मंत्री अमित शाह के सामने विपक्ष ने कागज फाड़ डाले.
इस दौरान विपक्ष ने इस बिल की कॉपी फाड़ दी और फिर फाड़ कर उस कॉपी को फेंक दिया.
Leaders of the India bloc even tore up copies of the bill and hurled the shreds in the Home Minister's face.
विपक्ष को बिल की जो कॉपी दी गई उसे फाड़कर हवा में उड़ा दिया. गृह मंत्री के सामने ही बिल फाड़कर उछाला गया.
Then there was violence. रेखा गुप्ता attacked.
दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री रेखा गुप्ता पर कातिलाना हमला हो गया. इसका नाम है राजेश भाई खिमजी और इसने सीएम रेखा गुप्ता पर कातिलाना हमला बोल दिया.
But why did he do it? His mother says he's a dog lover who was angry about the Supreme Court order and Chief Minister Rekha's intention to clear Delhi of street dogs and stray dogs.
क्या वास्तव में ये बात सच हो सकती है या असल साजिश से ध्यान हटाने के लिए इस बात पर जोर दिया जा रहा है? क्योंकि अगर नाराजगी कुत्तों को लेकर थी तो आरोपी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने प्रदर्शन करता.
और कुत्तों वाले फैसले से कई एनिमल लवर दुखी, लेकिन कोई इस तरह से मुख्यमंत्री के घर में घुसकर हमला करेगा, ये बात गले से नीचे नहीं उतर रही कई लोगों.
Now look, India is a democracy. If you're angry with your neta, you show it with your vote, not with violence. Clear? The attack has to be condemned. Apparently, this attacker was a dog lover and he was upset about the stray dog order in New Delhi.
कुत्तों से ही प्रेम करने का दावा करने वाला एक आदमी दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री पर हमला करता है. इस आरोपी की मां बार-बार कह रही है कि बेटा मेरा कुत्ता प्रेमी है, कुत्ते के प्रेम में उसने किया है. लेकिन सवाल ये, कुत्ते के प्रेम में क्या किसी इंसान को मारने की कोशिश कोई कर सकता है?
भाई, लालच इंसान से क्या-क्या करा देता है, तो ये तो फिर पशु प्रेमी है. Now reports say that the man slapped and pulled the CM's hair. Channels immediately called it an attack without stressing on thappad, baal khicha and all sensationalist details. And that is the decent thing to do. That is exactly how channels should report it. But here's the thing. Remember when Kejriwal was slapped? How was that covered? Comical, meme-worthy. Kejriwal looking upset. Thumbnail saying चुनावी चांटा. ये चांटे के पीछे क्या है? आज तक actually has a headline that says Kejriwal, the leader voters love to hit. Love to hit. In one Z News clip, you can almost hear the anchor snigger.
दिल्ली में रोड शो के दौरान मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल को एक व्यक्ति ने थप्पड़ मारा.
अरविंद केजरीवाल को एक व्यक्ति ने थप्पड़ मारा.
So when the BJP CM gets slapped, the word attack is used to give the news the seriousness it deserves. That's how it should be, like I said before. But when Kejriwal is attacked, तो भाई उसको मुक्का मारा.
दक्षिणी दिल्ली में एक रोड शो के दौरान अचानक एक शख्स ने केजरीवाल को मुक्का मार दिया.
थप्पड़ मारा. क्यों पिटते रहते हैं बार-बार केजरीवाल? Kejriwal does it again. भाई, what has Kejriwal done again? I mean, he's the one getting attacked here. In journalism, words matter. How you use words can manipulate your audience. Attack signals seriousness. Chata, mukka, thappad signals don't take this seriously. बस थोड़ा हंसो और मीम बनाओ.
हिपोक्रेसी की भी सीमा होती है.
This selective seriousness, that's the real TV nuisance. Moving on to some emotions.
क्या अपनी माताओं, बहुओं, बेटियों सहित किसी भी मतदाता की सीसीटीवी वीडियो चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या?
साझा करनी चाहिए क्या?
That was the election commissioner saying कि महिलाओं और बेटियों की वोट देते हुए तस्वीरें हम कैसे साझा कर सकते हैं. पहले तो भाई इलेक्शन कमीशन has put up many photos of women voting because it's just that, women voting. मतलब इसमें इतना हाय तौबा करने वाली क्या बात है कि आपको वीडियो रिलीज कर दिया विमेन की वोट करते हुए. इन्होंने तो नविका को भी पीछे छोड़ दिया.
कालीन, कारपेट कितने? 1 लाख नहीं, 2 लाख बिल्कुल नहीं, 4 लाख ना ना ना, 20 लाख रुपए के 5 कालीन आए हैं।
So let's get straight into this whole vote chori accusation that's been going on for many months now. It's not as if there are no legitimate questions that can be asked of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress when it comes to this massive accusation.
That brings me to the Motorola legitimate question on the news hour tonight.
Legitimate questions that of course Navika will not ask. For that you have to watch News Laundry.
Let's start with the one that has made the biggest headline, which is Rahul Gandhi holding a press conference accusing the Election Commission of what he called vote chori. The crux of his argument was that he and his team found over 1 lakh discrepancies in the Mahadevpura Assembly constituency in Bengaluru, part of the Bengaluru Central Lok Sabha seat, duplicate voters, fake and invalid addresses and so on. Rahul has claimed that the BJP won the seat in 2024 because of the so-called vote chori in Mahadevpura. But I want to start by asking you, on what basis is Rahul or the Congress making that claim? Where is the proof that these 1 lakh so-called bogus or fraud voters voted for the BJP?
This is very interesting. This, by the way, is not the answer which you're now mentioning from the EC. The EC's answer, you are asking me an answer, I'll give you the answer.
I'm asking about Rahul's allegation.
No, I know. Interestingly, that question could be understood, upon which you would have given the answer in the documentation we have to the EC. But the answer from the EC is, let's forget about all this, Mr. Singhvi. First tell me, why did you put all this on affidavit? Now, the answer to your question is, Rahul Gandhi suppressed, restrained and controlled himself for over 6 months. A research was carried out.
Yes.
Samples were done. People went. Documentation was done.
Yes.
We are not the government. In the limited available resources, we did best what we could.
Yes.
In any normal, progressive, developing democracy which wants to reassure the voters,
Yes.
the reaction would be, give us all the material you've collected. There may or may not be something. Give us 2 weeks to check up and we'll revert to you.
That's not
the
my
right
question,
answer.
though. That's not my question. My question is,
Yes.
how does this prove the allegation that Rahul is making
yes.
that this bogus voter pool or whatever it is we unearthed actually ended up voting for the BJP and ensured
Very
the election?
easy.
Where is the evidence of that?
You can watch that full video on newslaundry.com, and like I said before, you can ask legitimate questions of the Congress in this whole issue. Number 1, duplicate voters doesn't automatically mean fake voters. एक इंसान का नाम 2 वोटर लिस्ट में हो सकता है बिकॉज ऑफ क्लरिकल इश्यूज और बिकॉज हमारे इलेक्टोरल रोल्स ठीक से क्लीन नहीं है, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि फेक वोटर्स हैं या एक इंसान 10 जगह वोट कर रहा है. Number 2, Rahul says that there has been an increase of about 1 lakh voters in one of the constituencies in Bangalore. But an increase and decrease in voters does not mean कि vote चोरी हो रहा है. You have to prove the increased voters are bogus or that all of them have been voting for BJP to make your claim. So an increase or decrease, however alarming, cannot be the sole basis of vote chori. Number 3, where opposition has an absolutely valid point. इतनी जल्दी, इतनी तेजी से बिहार में SIR कराने की जरूरत क्या थी? It's not like after the SIR we have clean rolls now, no duplications. Bihar electoral rolls still have problems like 2 lakh people have addresses as house number 0. And people with names like ... are listed as voters. This exercise should have taken at least 1 year. बट कुछ ही महीनों में ये करा के जनता को तंग करके कि भाई आधार वैलिड है या नहीं है, भाई बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट दिखाओ, ऐसे इलाकों में जो आधे साल बाढ़ में डूबे रहते हैं, ये सब करा के वी आर बैक टू स्क्वायर वन, विच इज faulty electoral rolls with duplications and errors. So what was your point of this whole exercise? And what was your real intention?
आप क्रोनोलॉजी समझ लीजिए.
इस सब के चलते जनता का भी विश्वास इलेक्शन कमीशन से धीरे धीरे उठने लगा है. This is very dangerous in any democracy. If people start believing that the umpire of Indian elections is in the pocket of a ruling party, it is the recipe for anarchy. A CSDS survey showed us last week that in UP and Delhi, more than 30% of the people don't trust the election commission. In UP, the lack of trust increased from 16% to 30%. This survey came out last week. और इस हफ्ते क्या हुआ?
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज, CSDS के संजय कुमार पर हुई FIR. वोटर कम होने का किया दावा। वोट पर दुष्प्रचार, सीएसडीएस के खिलाफ एफआईआर। सीएसडीएस के संजय कुमार पर एफआईआर, एक्स पर पोस्ट करना पड़ा महंगा।
So, on August 17th, psephologist Sanjay Kumar from CSDS, who now has 2 FIRs against him, posted a tweet about voter decrease in 2 Maharashtra constituencies, Ramtek and Devlali. The drop looked massive, 38% and 37%. But just 2 days later, he apologized, said that it was a mistake on part of the data team. He clarified that there was no intent to mislead, deleted the tweet and apologized. So in a normal country, it should be simple. Mistake के बाद apology, apology के बाद end of story. Pawan Khera was one of the only few congressmen who actually used the data, and even he deleted it later. But in Amrit Kal, Vishwaguru country, a mistake on Twitter becomes full-on primetime material. Please remember, the wrong data was not a published study. It was a tweet. The person, Sanjay, who put it out apologized. But of course, Navika was not convinced.
आपने तो माफी मांग ली, लेकिन अब तो तीर निकल गया। तीर जो निकल गया वो वापस तो जा नहीं सकता तरकश में।
तीर जो निकल गया वो वापस नहीं आ सकता। कितने ही ऐसे तीर आपकी तरकश से भी निकले हैं नविका?
Sex, money, Bollywood, drugs, drinks, parties, rape parties, and now a murder, possibly a murder angle in this entire story.
Use 4 drops in coffee, tea or water and let him sip it. Let him sip it. Give it 30 to 40 minutes for it to kick in. This is the smoking gun. Rhea Chakrabarti played a very crucial role. She was managing Sushant Singh Rajput. She was manipulating him. But this manipulation was a conspiratorial manipulation. Drugs were being given to Sushant Singh Rajput against his will, without his knowing it. All of that shows she had access to his money and was using it absolutely free.
This man actually presented himself up for questioning on prime time. But it's not enough. Meanwhile, Navika, क्या fake news उड़ा के, we have never heard her apologize about the fake news spread about Sushant being murdered. क्या fake news नहीं फैलाई इन्होंने. But चलो, let's judge others who acknowledge their mistake and say sorry and correct themselves.
But the problem is, in this era of reels and AI, anybody can spread a lie.
Arnab, AI और reels तो अभी भी आए हैं. What about WhatsApp forwards? Anybody? क्या you have been using WhatsApp forwards to spread lies? So many of them.
I want to ask you something. What kind of business does your party have in Turkey? Did you know, viewers, the Congress party has a registered office in Turkey?
मैंने कहा था कि हो सकता है कि सुशांत की हत्या रिया चक्रवर्ती ने ना की हो, लेकिन रिया सुशांत की हत्या की साजिश में शामिल है। ये 100% सत्य है। ये लोग, मीडिया आज बंद है इस पर, कोरोना पे कार्यक्रम करते हैं, मगर संतों की हत्या हो गई। और भारत में जहां पे 80% आचार्य विक्रमादित्य, 80% हमारी आबादी हिंदू है, 80% आबादी सनातन धर्म को मानती है, यहां पे हिंदू होना, गेरुआ पहनना पाप हो गया है।
सच में कलयुग आ गया है. These guys are supposed to be the guardians of truth. By the way, these guys are also in court against each other. Arnab has alleged that Navika has defamed him on her prime time. तुम लोग पहले आपस में सेटल कर लो, फिर बाकियों को डिफेम करना.
But the fact is, he was one of the most important sources for the Congress party to add credibility to its vote chori claim. So when he himself admitted that his information was false, then obviously it has had a huge impact on the Congress party's claims, which is why it's good that the vote chori lie has been exposed.
Now let's just rewind to the entire controversy and how it began. Rahul Gandhi, in his Indian Express column, raised some very important and serious questions about voter surge in Maharashtra. He pointed to a sudden jump of 41 lakh voters in 5 months and late turnout spikes. मतलब शाम होते होते turnout बढ़ने लगी. Importantly, his claims were based entirely on Election Commission data, not CSDS. But anchors mixed it all up. Sanjay Kumar's error became a reason for anchors to trash all of Rahul's allegations.
वोट चोरी के आरोप का बुनियादी आंकड़ा ही गलत निकला। क्या देश से माफी मांगेंगे राहुल गांधी?
बुनियादी आंकड़ा? CSDS के संजय कुमार का tweet was not the basis of any of the claims. Again, you can criticize Rahul's claims, but at least criticize the data set he used. The data set was Election Commission's. So बुनियादी आंकड़े अभी भी ठीक हैं।
आपको लगता है कि ये जो वोट चोरी का नैरेटिव है, कहीं ये आज लड़खड़ा गया है? क्योंकि अब तक इसी नैरेटिव पर था कि महाराष्ट्र में धांधली हुई, हरियाणा में धांधली हुई, अब बिहार में हो रही है। क्या आज ये सारे नैरेटिव पर सवालिया निशान लग गया?
Again, Rahul's narrative was not based on CSDS. To fight Rahul's narrative, you have to punch holes in his data. पर इतनी मेहनत कौन करेगा? इसमें तो काम करना पड़ेगा।
When it is proved before everyone that this was a magnificent error of data, then how does the Congress party continue on its rant that the entire system, the electoral system of this country is wrong?
Again, this was not a magnificent error of data. It was a tweet about 2 constituencies in Maharashtra. Rahul used Election Commission data for Maharashtra for the nth time, and for Karnataka, he claims the Congress has done its own investigations.
The mounting fact checks prompt several questions. And the first is the most basic one. Relying on wrong facts allegedly is powering the Congress's wild claims.
वाह करारे चने वाह। मतलब एक प्रोफेसर की एक्सेल शीट में मिस्टेक और ऑपोजिशन के सारे एलिगेशंस baseless conspiracy. At one level, I do get this guy. I mean, this man has never done a fact check, so he mistakes an apology, a self-admission for a fact check. Or Rahul Shivshankar, when it comes to fake news, you still haven't apologized for your giant error.
Karim Muhammad Iqbal, Lashkar terrorist religious preacher, also killed in Kotli operation. This is under Kotli Operation Sindoor, of course. Can you give us a little bit of a background on this individual? I'm sure he must have popped up on your radar and your grid, and maybe even your crosshairs at some point.
So essentially, he was not technically a terrorist operation leader. He was the motivator. He was the radicalizer.
And here's a fact check. This is what our reporters Nidhi Suresh and Anmol Preetham found when they spoke to the family of Karim Muhammad Iqbal in Poonch.
तो किसी ने मोबाइल खोला, देखा तो कि उसके ऊपर न्यूज़ चल रही है। न्यूज़ वालों ने, 80 न्यूज़ वालों ने और कुछ गोदी मीडिया चैनल वालों ने बताया कि ये हमने बहुत बड़ा आतंकी मार डाला है। कारी इकबाल बहुत बड़ा आतंकी था, बहुत बड़ा, यहाँ तक बताया कि ये पुलवामा का मास्टरमाइंड था।
तो हमारी दाढ़ी और टोपी को देख के मिलिटेंट करार देते हैं ये मीडिया वाले। इसको गोदी मीडिया का इसीलिए अटैक लगा है।
अब इस वजह से इन्होंने क्या हो गया कि उनके सर पे टोपी थी और मुंह पे दाढ़ी थी, उस वजह से हो सकता है उन्होंने सोचकर कहा कि ये दाढ़ी टोपी वाला होकर ये एक उनको नहीं, इसका मतलब सब मुसलमानों को टारगेट किया इन्होंने।
So you see, can't blame these guys for what they did this week. But थोड़ी सी मेहनत करके थोड़ा सा फैक्ट चेक कर ही लो अगर ऑपोजिशन का नैरेटिव बकवास बताना है तो। It's not like newspapers aren't doing it. For example, an Indian Express report explained the House Zero issue. They showed us voters in Delhi with house number 0. These are homeless residents who've been included in electoral rolls. और क्योंकि वो homeless हैं तो उनका address 0 है. Like Apurba Chatterjee, a migrant from West Bengal who works at a store in New Delhi. Chatterjee's address on his voter ID, which he got 4 years ago, has 0 as his house number. In illegal colonies, municipalities sometimes allot 0 as a house number to avoid giving them a legal status, and this then gets registered as official address on voter IDs too. So simply address में अगर 0 लिखा हो, it doesn't make it a giant conspiracy. लेकिन हाँ, अगर SIR का मेन एम था ये सारे इश्यूज क्लियर करने का या ये सब कुछ क्लीन करने का, तो अब तक बिहार के रोल्स में ये इश्यूज क्यों बार बार आ रहे हैं? ऑपोजिशन का कहना है कि वोटर रोल्स बीइंग ऑफ बैड क्वालिटी, दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम. वी अग्री इट्स अ प्रॉब्लम, बट यू आर यूजिंग दैट टू डू अ हरिड रिविजन व्हिच इज एक्सक्लूजनरी इन नेचर, एंड दे आरंट रॉन्ग इन दिस. लुक एट द बीजेपी रिटोरिक ऑफ लेट.
सोची समझी साजिश के तहत देश की डेमोग्राफी को बदला जा रहा है. घुसपैठिए मेरे देश के नौजवानों की रोजी रोटी छीन रहे हैं। एक घुसपैठिए मेरे देश की बहन बेटियों को निशाना बना रहे हैं। ये घुसपैठिए भोले भाले आदिवासियों को भ्रमित करके उनकी जमीनों पर कब्जा कर रहे हैं। ये देश सहन नहीं करेगा।
From the Red Fort, the Prime Minister of the country is saying कि बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठिए आके डेमोग्राफी बदल रहे हैं। भाई पिछले 11 साल से आपकी ही सरकार तो पावर में थी, तो ये सब क्यों हो रहा है? और SIR करते वक्त सरकार और सरकारी भोपुओं का यही फोकस है कि भाई बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों को बिहार के इलेक्टोरल रोल से हटाया जाए।
आयोग से जुड़े सूत्रों का कहना है कि बिहार में घर घर जाकर वोटर्स की जांच कर रहे अफसरों को बड़ी संख्या में बांग्लादेशी, रोहिंग्या, नेपाली घुसपैठियों का पता चला है।
खबरें ये आ रही है कि बिहार में वोटर लिस्ट की गहन जांच में ऐसे लोग भी मिल रहे हैं जिनका कनेक्शन नेपाल से, बांग्लादेश से या म्यांमार जैसे देश से।
वोटर सत्यापन के दौरान चुनाव आयोग के सूत्रों के मुताबिक बड़ी संख्या में रोहिंग्या, बांग्लादेशी और नेपाली वोटर्स के होने का पता चला है।
बिहार में बांग्लादेश, म्यांमार और नेपाल से आए घुसपैठियों की जानकारी मिली है। ये खबर चुनाव आयोग के सूत्रों के जरिए सामने आई है।
ये बिल्कुल सही बात है कि इनके नाक के नीचे घुसपैठिए कैसे घुसे, लेकिन अगर घुस आए हैं तो उनको बाहर भगाइएगा नहीं भगाइएगा?
जो बांग्लादेश से आकर मेरे बिहार के युवाओं की नौकरी खा जाते हैं, उनको बचाना चाहते हो? मुझे बताओ मिथिलांचल वालों, SIR मतदाता सूची से स्पष्ट संदेश दीजिए लालू एंड कंपनी को। घुसपैठियों के वोट चाहिए तो बिहार की जनता आपको स्वीकार नहीं करेगी।
जो घुसपैठिए हैं, जो फर्जी वोट बना है, उनके वोट को खत्म किया जाए तो उसका विरोध कांग्रेस पार्टी करती है। ये घुसपैठियों के वोट बैंक पर राजनीति क्यों करना चाहते हैं विपक्षी दल?
और अगर इस मंशा पे कोई सवाल उठाए तो देन इट्स अ कॉन्स्पिरेसी।
There is a larger conspiracy against our country. Some time back I told you what was happening in Bangladesh, and I said at that point of time about the deep state. And today I would like to tell you once again that remember there is a deep state that is targeting our nation as well.
चुनी हुई सरकार की वैधता पर लोग सवाल खड़े करेंगे। अविश्वास से, जैसा बीजेपी कह रही है, लोगों के मन में अविश्वास पैदा करके लोगों को सड़कों पर लाने की कोशिश है, जो शायद संभवतः बांग्लादेश में किया गया।
So any questions of EC और मोदी? Plot to destabilize India. सच पुराना फॉर्मूला यार, बोर हो गए। Sanjay's tweet may have been wrong and he's apologized for it, but newsrooms turning it into a full-on Bollywood thriller, foreign-funded Congress lobby maha-failure. How correct is that?
Has your organization in the past accepted foreign funding? Has the Ford Foundation given you money? And have you got money from the British government? Have you got money from IDRC of Canada, Hewlett Foundation, Dutch agencies, Gates Foundation, and you particularly do focus on caste in a big way. Caste is part of Congress Party agenda also.
अब आप देखिए कि सरकार से ही पैसा मिलता है और सरकार से ही पैसा लेकर ये संस्था झूठ फैला रही है। किसी भी देश को कमजोर करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका ये होता है कि उसके लोकतंत्र पर हमला किया जाए।
So now Sanjay of CSDS is apparently also part of a conspiracy, but in the run-up to 2024, he was invited in all the channels to give his expert comments on elections. तब तो कोई कमजोर नहीं कर रहा था देश के नैरेटिव को। Let's again go back to Lokniti CSDS survey from last week. In 5 states, Assam, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, the survey shows that public trust in election commission is slipping badly. Out of over 3,000 respondents, many expressed fear that the commission's special revision exercise could actually end up deleting genuine voters instead of cleaning up the rolls. The study found that poorer, rural, Dalit, Adivasi and minority voters feel the process is confusing and they feel it's exclusionary, making them more vulnerable to disenfranchisement. In short, the very body meant to protect every vote is now being seen as the one that might erase it. Should this not be an issue of concern for Election Commission, whose mandate has been to be as inclusive as possible? कि भाई आपके पास चाहे छत ना हो, घर ना हो, लेकिन हम आपको वोटिंग का हक देते हैं. We will include you in the voter list because you are a citizen of India. From that inclusive spirit, the EC is now looked at as an exclusionary power. What can be worse than that for a democracy? I know what's worse. A media who can't do anything better than Paroso a stale whataboutery.
ये साल 2004 की बात कर रहे हैं। छपरा सीट पर चुनावों को रद्द कर दिया गया था और वहां फिर से चुनाव कराए गए थे और इससे आप ये समझ सकते हैं कि आज जो पार्टियां वोट चोरी का मुद्दा उठा रही हैं उनके राज में क्या क्या होता था।
No one is saying that elections were perfectly clean before 2014. From vote rigging to manipulations to booth capturing, Indian democracy has seen it all. But तब political parties ये सब करती थी और इसी फटकार लगाता था चाहे जो सत्ता में हो. The Election Commission has had people like T.N. Seshan. You know the photo in your voter IDs? Yup. That earlier did not exist. Voter IDs didn't have a photo. They were brought in as a rule by T.N. Seshan to completely weed out the problem of bogus voting. He brought in reforms that made an average citizen trust democracy, trust the process of democracy.
Everybody used to address me as Chief Election Commissioner, Government of India. Does it make a lot of difference that I am not the Chief Election Commissioner of the Government of India, but I am the Chief Election Commissioner of India? It's a very minor change in emphasis, but it's a major difference that I am not part of the government. Who are you answerable to? Certainly I am answerable to the President. Certainly I am answerable to the people. Certainly I am answerable to Parliament in the larger sense. I am answerable to the courts for any wrong which I may do. All this is true. So posturing has been an essential element of this.
What legacy will Gyanesh Kumar leave? I think he should worry about that than माताओं और बहनों की इज्जत जिसमें अभी से मीम बन रहे हैं।
क्या अपनी माताओं, बहुओं, बेटियों सहित किसी भी मतदाता की सीसीटीवी वीडियो चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या? क्या अपनी माताओं, बहुओं, बेटियों सहित किसी भी मतदाता की सीसीटीवी वीडियो चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या? चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या? चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या? चुनाव आयोग को साझा करनी चाहिए क्या?
As far as CSDS is concerned, I would urge all of you to read their surveys. कोई भी जर्नलिस्ट या कोई भी आम आदमी या आम औरत जो पॉलिटिक्स में इंटरेस्ट रखता है और देश की डेमोक्रेसी में इंटरेस्ट रखता है, उनको CSDS का हर सर्वे ज़रूर पढ़ना चाहिए. At News Laundry, we've done many interviews on their surveys with Sanjay. This one was right after the Lok Sabha elections of 2024.
Overconfidence of BJP has killed the BJP. The preference for voting for a party has declined compared to 2019. So people are not blindly voting for BJP the way they did in 2019. So they are looking at candidates more carefully. Prime Minister Modi's ability to pull votes for the BJP has got, there's a decline in that.
There was a near certainty कि ये exit poll नहीं exact poll है. What went wrong according to you with this exit poll business?
The race is not about getting it right. The race is about getting it first on the TV channel.
There wasn't a single person that we met in this elections who did not speak of anxiety around employment. But then the thinking is also कि यार ये तो हमेशा आज़ादी के बाद से हमेशा हर इलेक्शन में अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एक इशू है. It's not something new.
Even in 2019 election, people's anxieties about unemployment was very high. People's anxiety about price rise was very high. But there was still a hope among the people, and the hope was we will get Ram Mandir.
Poor people did stick with Modi, is what you're saying.
Poor people have shifted in favor of Modi in a much bigger manner compared to 2019. So there is a movement, clear movement of the poor voter in favor of BJP during the last 5 years. So and this is largely because of the welfare schemes. So the biggest narrative or the largest proportion of voters, the kind of voters I met was BJP को जीत के तो आना चाहिए. They should be re-elected but with a smaller majority.
One of my favorite surveys by CSDS was on the state of Indian media. Their survey showed how even TV news consumers themselves are fed up with news channels. रोज की चीकम चिल्ली, रोज का डिबेट, पॉलिटिकल पार्टिजनशिप, काफ़ी व्यूअर्स इस सब से बहुत थक चुके हैं.
लोग कंज्यूम तो करते हैं लेकिन कितना ट्रस्ट करते हैं टेलीविजन न्यूज़ में और किन चैनल्स में?
हम ये सोचते थे कि शायद लोग पसंद कर रहे हैं कि बस वो डिबेट होना चाहिए. But when you look at the findings of the study, it's not debate which people want to watch. People are more interested in the news. Because I think also because news is missing.
Even the BJP leaning respondent felt that news was too favorable to Modi, to Prime Minister Modi. all the viewers who go to these channels say that they prefer bulletins rather than watching news debates.
The data clearly indicates व्यूअर को क्या चाहिए, वो न्यूज़ चाहते हैं, लेकिन टीवी क्या, न्यूज़ चैनल्स क्या करा रहे हैं, वो न्यूज़ के अलावा सब कुछ कर रहे हैं और उसमें डिबेट टेक्स अ प्रोमिनेंट पोजीशन कि वो डिबेट है। तो इस कारण से हमें लगता है कि बिकॉज ऑफ द कंपटीशन, दैट्स व्हाट इज, इफ़ यू टॉक टू मेनी ऑफ दीज एडिटर्स, अगर आप उनसे 1-to-1 इन पर्सन बात करें तो खुद भी कहते हैं कि दिस इज़ टू मच, बहुत हो गया, लेकिन अब क्या करें, हमें न्यूज़ चलाना है, टीवी चलाना है, दूसरे कर रहे हैं तो हमें भी करना पड़ता है।
So I think, I hope some news editors and anchors are watching this, because clearly there is space for disruption and people want it. This thing कि चल रहा है, चलते रहे और यही चलता है, perhaps it's good time to rethink, because people seem to want news bulletins.
In any functioning democracy, professional research organizations would get funded. They wouldn't get penalized for what they're doing. And people would want to know what they're saying. Here, they're being vilified just for a simple mistake on Twitter. That's all the nuisance we have for you this week. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay mad. That's the only way. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Like I said before, you can check out our interview with Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Srinivasan Jain on newslaundry.com. It's behind the paywall. It's only for our subscribers. So you need to subscribe to check out that interview. You need to subscribe to check out Abhinandan's very interesting interview with author Atish Taseer on his latest book. So get a subscription, get access to all our fun interviews, interesting interviews, and also you get to read our paywall stories, and of course you get to support shows like Nuisance, shows like Tippani that cannot happen without your subscription. So subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free.